Hey everybody, what's up? This is Brian back with another World of Warcraft Classic video guide. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different, and we're going to be looking at specific places for mages to make gold at level 60. This video does assume you have your level 40 mount, but if you don't, there's still a part that will be relevant to you near the end of the video. Without further delay, let's take a look at some great spots for making gold as a mage at level 60. As a mage, there are tons of great spots to AOE farm mobs. First I'm going to show you how to AOE farm mobs, then I'm going to point out two great spots that you can consistently make between 30 to 80 gold per hour with AOE farming. Step 1 is going to be protecting yourself using your spells available. You're going to use Mana Shield and Ice Barrier to keep yourself protected from slowdowns. After you've got your shield up, step 2 is going to be mounting up. You're going to want to get on your mount and just start running up towards the enemies. Step 3 is aggro all the enemies. This means bunch them all up, get them all chasing you, so that you can get them together in a nice little cluster. I like to call step 4 pile and freeze. You're going to pile them all up, and then you're going to freeze them to the ground with Frost Nova. Step 5 is use Blizzard to AoE down the enemies. You're going to use Improved Blizzard, which will slow down the enemies, as well as break down their health quickly. You're going to use Cone of Cold to slow down the enemy if they get too close to you, just until Frost Nova recovers. You can also technically try to down the enemies using Arcane Explosion to finish off the group, as by this point they're usually going to be low on HP. If you do manage to get another Frost Nova in, you're going to want to cast Blizzard again to finish off the group, or just continue the cycle of Frost Nova, Blizzard, and Cone of Cold until they're down. That was the basics to AoE farming. So now we're going to use this basic concept to make the most amount of gold you can possibly make in World of Warcraft Classic as a solo mage. Now the spot you just watched was called Sorrow Hill in Western Plaguelands. This is the amount of gold you'll make vendoring just off of 100 mobs. This is about 10 minutes of work with just a few pulls like the one I just showed you. You'll notice that these guys drop a lot of rune cloth, but in my server the value is kind of down for individual stacks of rune cloth, so I usually just save it to make things later. Now things like this tailing recipe on the other hand will sell very well in the auction house, as would other BOE greens and blues when they do happen to drop. Now I'm going to start vendoring everything that dropped off of these guys, but just remember that this is only 10 minutes of farming these guys, just to show the value of these mobs when they happen to be available to farm. But do remember that I already have 1.1 gold in my bag, and we're also going to disregard the rune cloth since I'm saving that for something later. A lot of the rune cloth was from past runs anyway, if I remember correctly. So that's about 6 gold with just 10 minutes of farming that spot. Then you'd probably wait for the mobs to respawn and just keep going again and again. On average with this spot, you'll make between 35 to 50 gold per hour, just from vendoring drops and auctioning off the odd BOE items. This is far from the only place you can AoE farm at level 60 though. Far northeast in Ungaro Crater, there's a cave full of gorillas called Fungal Rock. The gorillas in this cave can make for some serious gold for those mages who know how to kite without their mount and in tight spaces. You'll probably notice during this clip that my spells are going to be done in a different order, slightly. This time I'm going to start off with just Ice Barrier, no Mana Shield. Now we're going to throw in a Slow Fall spell. Here you'll see me ice block myself just above the ground. This will allow the mobs behind me to run down and aggro more enemies, and even if the guys in the ground can reach me, they can't hurt me because of the ice block. Now that I've got them all bunched up, I'm going to throw in Frost Nova of course, to keep them all in one spot. Now we're going to use Improved Blizzard again to break down their health and slow them down. You'll usually get 1 or 2 Blizzard spells in before you're going to have to start going on the move again. Gotta pop myself another Ice Barrier for protection. Don't forget to throw in a Cone of Cold, just for that instant damage, as well as the slowdown effect to create space between you and the enemy. At this point I figure Arcane Blast might help a lot, since a lot of them already have such low health. Frost Nova's back up, so time to use that again. This Blizzard will clean most of them up at this point. Here comes a quick Cone of Cold, and a Fire Blast to wipe up this last guy here. I'm showing you Fungal Rock like this to also show that there's many different ways to AoE farm, with the same basic concepts always being applied. Blizzard and Frost Nova, for example, are always going to be your best friends. But you're not always going to need the mount, and the mana shield will actually hurt you in some situations. Depending on where you are, taking advantage of the terrain might help a lot too. As for gold efficiency for this spot, we're going to take a look in a second. But before then, I'll quickly mention that this spot is very unpopular right now. It's much less popular than Sorrow Hill, so you'll rarely have competition here, other than from people who are doing quests or basic grinding just to level up. Here we're going to vendor trash loot from just 10 minutes of farming that spot, just like we did with the undead. Everything in these bags is from about 10 minutes of being in that spot. Now this time I actually did think ahead, and I got rid of any gold or loot on my character to show you this example more simply. I'll vendor trash loot first. Something you're immediately going to realize is that the vendor drops on these guys sell for much higher prices individually. This is actually a fantastic place to farm gold, as just from vendoring for 10 minutes, we got 7.5 gold. While I won't guarantee you'll get any BOEs or greens or anything like that, I'm still going to show you what I got from my 10 minutes here if I vendored the items. But usually you'd want to auction off these items and not vendor them. So yeah, in this situation we got about 12 gold with just 10 minutes of work. But if we auctioned off these BOE items, we'd probably be looking more at between 18 to 25 gold overall, again, with just 10 minutes of work. On average in this spot, I was looking at between 50 to 90 gold per hour, but that's only when no one else was questing or mining in this area. You will run into the odd player once in a while, and when that happens, you might have to just sort of forget about this spot, because other people, when they're here, they're on a mission. Either they're farming or they're doing a quest. Now here's the thing, as a mage, you clearly have an advantage here. But actually, even as a single target farm, this cave is very profitable for most classes. So if you're not a mage, don't feel left out. The loot on these guys is still fantastic. Before I let you go, I do want to talk about one more quick thing. For those who are going to say, but Brian, both those spots are taken. What are my options for my very highly populated server? There's actually 2 dungeons you can solo farm as a mage at level 60. But these would require specific videos per dungeon just to give the instructions on how to do it. Basically these places are BRD and ZF. Until I've gotten the chance to make my own videos with guides for each of these dungeon spots, I'm going to include links in the description of this video that show other YouTubers showing how to do these spots. Both of these spots in these dungeons can be very profitable, with up to 100 gold per hour available to you if you know what you're doing. Best of all, when you farm a dungeon alone, there's no competition. The reason I focused on these 2 spots specifically today is that they're a great start to someone who's just learning the basics of AOE farming, while also making a ton of gold to help pay for your epic mount, for those who haven't bought one yet. As for the talent specs for this build, I went with mostly a Frost AOE spec, just like the one pictured here. I want to thank you again for watching my video, and if you did find it helpful, please give it a like, and comment below if you know other great spots for AOE farming as a mage. Don't forget to subscribe if you're interested in more videos like this. I'm currently still working on a follow-up video that will show players of other classes where to farm gold at level 60 to help pay for their epic mounts. I'm also working on a Horde XP farm guide for a quick level 1 to 60. Don't worry if you're not a mage, I haven't forgotten you. I'm just working on a few little class guides in between the main videos I'm making. I want to thank you again for watching, and I hope you have a great day.